Hello everyone, this is Today in History. Today is Wednesday, January the 10th day of 2024. There are 365 days left in the year. On this day in 1776, Thomas Payne anonymously published his influential pamphlet, Common Sense, which argued for American independence from British rule. We could use some common sense these days. We could use a lot of common sense these days. On this day in 1860, the Pemberton Mill in Lawrence, Massachusetts, collapsed and caught fire, killing up to 145 people, mostly female workers from Scotland and Ireland. On this day in 1861, Florida became the third state to secede from the Union. On this day in 1863, the London Underground had its beginning as the Metropolitan, the world's first underground passenger railway, open to the public with service between Paddington and Farmington Street. On this day in 1870, John D. Rockefeller incorporated Standard Oil. On this day in 1920, the League of Nations was established as the Treaty of Versailles went into effect. On this day in 1967, President Lyndon B. Johnson, in his State of the Union address, asked Congress to impose a surcharge on both corporate and individual income taxes to help pay for his Great Society programs as well as war in Vietnam. On this day in 1971, French fashion designer Coco died in Paris at age 87. On this day in 1984, the United States and the Vatican established full diplomatic relations for the first time in more than a century. On this day in 2002, Marines began flying hundreds of al-Qaeda prisoners in Afghanistan to the U.S. base at Guantanamo Bay. I wonder what they're doing with Gitmo these days. Anything going on down there? Just curious. On this day in 2003, North Korea withdrew from a global treaty barring it from making nuclear weapons. On this day in 2007, the Democratic-controlled House voted 315 to 116 to increase the federal minimum wage to $7.25 an hour. On this day in 2011, a judge in Austin, Texas, ordered former U.S. House Majority Leader Tom DeLay to serve 3 years in prison for his money laundering conviction. DeLay's conviction was ultimately overturned. On this day in 2022, Robert Durst, the New York real estate heir who was sentenced to life in prison for killing his best friend, died at age 78 at a hospital outside the California prison where he had been serving his sentence. Today's birthdays. Singer Rod Stewart is 79. Rock singer musician David Fagan of Steely Dan is 76. Boxing Hall of Famer and entrepreneur George Foreman is 75. Rock musician Scott Thurston of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers is 72. And singer Pat Benatar is 71. And that's it for today. Today is January the 10th day of 2024. There are 356 days left in the year. Thank you for stopping by.